Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Bell. It is Wednesday, February 7th, 2024. It is 60 seconds after the bell, which means it is time to go beyond the charts, beyond the news, beyond the bell. Brought to you by our good friends over at the Blue Sky Trading Company for the quickest path, for the clearest path. It's quickest if you're a good trader, so that works as well. But for the clearest path to a live brokerage account, live trading with Mike every day in the Discord and this amazing show, come join us over at bluesky.pro and go ahead and sign up. We are having a 50% off sale right now. I will give you more information on that. First of all, I got to shout out the chat today, guys. Diego, my man from Memphis, Tennessee, getting the energy. The countdown isn't even started yet, and Diego's bringing the energy. I like that about you, Diego. We've never met, but never changed, brother. I appreciate that. And yeah, so he's talking about the trading competition. We're going to get a little more into that, but this is something we've got going on at Blue Sky. It's an opportunity for you to kind of test your trading mettle. Say that 10 times fast, and you can host this show for a day. Test your trading mettle against some of the best traders in the Blue Sky family. It's really interesting. It's a great little competition. We're going to talk about it a little more on the show momentarily. But first, we had a really interesting day in the markets, guys. It is time to get to the big picture. Okay, so today is 5K day in the ES. We're going to get to that momentarily, but before we do that, I want to talk about, and guys, we got to be careful with the prognostication business, right? It's one thing to say, the markets are going to do this or do that, and of course, there's any number of talking head idiots on CNBC, Fox Business, Bloomberg, whatever the case may be, that want to make these big, bold predictions for the market, right? We just got out of January, and what's the first week of January in the financial media is just predicting, 2023 or 2024 is going to be wonderful. We're going to go up 10% this year. If you ever want to know how worthless those predictions are, and that's not a knock on those people, right? That's what that's what they're told. When I haven't done anything on those networks, but I've done things in various forms before where they just say, all right, we're going to ask you how things are going to be in 2 months. I'm a day trader. I don't give a crap where things are going to be in 2 months. I just want to know where they're going to be 5 minutes from now, and and using those statistics and probabilities and patterns and all that. If I can project where the market's going to be 5 minutes from now or even a minute from now, I can make money. That's all I care about as far as a day trader, right? So some, and some theses on the market are literally not worth a warm bucket of spit, right? And that's okay. But we do want to look at, and this is why we start this show every day after some of the witty banter that I have at the very beginning, we move on to the big picture, okay? And with that, we wanted to kind of figure out, not necessarily predict where the markets are going, but the behavior they're going to have on the way to whatever destination they have. And we talked about this, guys, yesterday. Triple top in the NQ, right? And I said, I don't know when we're going to retest this level, okay? It may be tomorrow, it may be 6 months from now. Well, it turns out it was tomorrow, which is now today. And I said, if and when we get through this level, I think we're going to go with some violence, with some velocity of movement, as some of the more technical traders will call it, right? And sure enough, we pushed up. We were at one point well over 100 points above that 750 level and kind of settling in a little bit now. But two very strong candles that made up our trading day today, right, guys? And just really, really good, strong movement that as soon as we ran up, again, triple tops are rare in the index, guys, especially when you get anything longer than a 1 hour on the chart, right? And this is a 4 hour, and this is a very clean triple top. In fact, this one we really hung around for quite some time without really being able to push up above and through, and sure enough, we got there. So what do I want to see tomorrow or overnight tonight? I want to see this. I want to see a retest of that level and a bounce off, because I want it to confirm, right? When we talk about areas of support and resistance, again, when an area of support or resistance gets broken, it tends to become the opposite, right? That's what basic theory of technical analysis will tell you. In this case, previous resistance becomes support. Okay, like we saw that here. We broke up above a prior area of resistance, support, and it's not always exact, right? This prior area of resistance, after we pushed up here, we ran into resistance. As soon as we retested it here, became support. So now to really solidify this movement up, I want to see this area tested. This is a pattern I call a break, retest, and go. Very simple pattern. Sometimes it's tradable, it's actionable, sometimes it's not. That's okay. We just want, again, help us to really establish this area as support. Now, of course, if we move down, we could break that level. We could be right back down below 700 tomorrow. Personally, I think if we get back below 700, we will retest the 580 level again. But if we come back here and confirm, and this doesn't have to bounce off to the tick, guys, right? It's not like it has to, okay, well, technically that's really close, but no. It can go a little below. It can come a little above, right? But ultimately, if we do that and we rebound back to new highs, that will confirm to me that this area is at least, barring options expiration next Friday and a couple of other events, that anything below 750, at least for then, is in our review mirror. But in the ES today, guys, we broke through 5K. Now, we always have to put something like this in perspective, right? 5,000 was this key level, new all-time highs today, right? I'm sure somewhere it's like the idiots on the floor in New York that have the hats every time the Dow hits a new level. Like, okay, all right, whatever. That's always seemed pretty dumb to me, but I'm not down there, and maybe it's a thing, whatever. So I don't know if they have 5,000 ES hats. Not a lot of futures traders on the floor in New York. They tend to be in offices and or at home, and they used to be based out of Chicago, although a lot of the trading pits in Chicago are closed now. But it would not surprise me. In fact, again, we want to go retest this level, and we're at 512 right now, guys. That's a nice 12 points is a nice move in the ES. That's a little distance, a little divergence here, but it's not like we're up here. It's not like we're pushing halfway to 5,100 yet. We did break. I really got to see us hold this area as we move into tomorrow. So we just want to slow down a little bit in terms of anointing, that we're just going to continue to break and make new all-time highs, although that is what we've been doing for the last week or so. So with that in mind, guys, I do want to then talk about, and guys, as always, this is an interactive show, so if you have any questions, just put them in the chat. For those of you that are on delay, because I know a lot of our views happen later on in the night, and for those of you that are enjoying us maybe with a glass of bourbon before you get ready to go to bed, welcome. Somewhere in the future as I'm recording this, I'm probably enjoying one with you, so we'll just drink at different times and different places together, if that makes sense. So it doesn't, but that's okay. So Diego's currently number one in the competition. I appreciate that. Again, we're going to talk about that momentarily. But in a couple of minutes, I will give you guys the ways to contact me if you're somebody who watches this show in the evenings or early the next morning if you're across the pond. And if you ever want any of your questions answered and you are not able to be here live. But in the meantime, guys, it is time to get to the lesson of the day. And for the lesson of the day, guys, I want to talk a little bit about expanding your trading, right? So quick story. Let's pull this up. If you look at my futures, I've been a full-time trader for about 10 years, and basically a full-time futures day trader for not quite 6 yet. Okay, and I really eased into it. It's been, my volume in trading has increased, and I really drilled down on it at the beginning of the pandemic when, everybody was kind of stuck at home for a little while. But I'd been dabbling in it before then. It had some success, just not quite to the level that I wanted to, or not quite to the level that I am now. And so, like a lot of people, I just got in. I basically just started very simple. Okay, started with basically with the ES. The ES and the YM were the two I followed. The YM being the futures contract for the Dow that I followed very closely, and then expanded into other things as well. And in calendar year 2022, probably about 80 to 85% of my trades were in the indexes, and of those, probably 3/4 were in the ES. The ES was a little more reliable mover, just a little, a little slower, and you can size up and size down, and just be a little more agile in that. However, in 2023, most of my trades were in the NQ and continue to be so far this year. In fact, I said as one of my weekly goals in the community that I run that I want to make sure I'm looking at other charts. I've predominantly spent the last 3 years looking very closely at the NQ, the ES, the CL, and the GC, right? So we're talking the SPY, NASDAQ, gold, and oil. But to me, and I said this actually on the show the other day, first of all, I want to get more actively trading non-NQ products, and I want to start learning and watching bonds in 2024. Either the ZM, ZB, whatever the case may be. That's my main March project, is start getting those up on charts, watching them. I will probably spend, guys, just at least 30 days, if not 60 days, and that's not calendar days, that's trading days. Just watching and observing and making some notes and just looking at if any of my strategies that I play in the indexes that work out so well will work there. Do they play nice and respect VWAP? How do they look on a Renko chart? All these types of things that I'm going to look at. So it is important to go through a process to add more things to your trading. So with that in mind, guys, I do just want to take a minute and I want to show you all the products that you can trade with us here at Blue Sky, okay? So first of all your commissions are here, your evals, all that kind of stuff, the basic rules. But I want to just go through. Now, I'm not personally a currency trader, but I know it's very big. It's big everywhere. Obviously, Forex trading is big, but it's also very, very dangerous. And when trading currency pair futures, it's a little more of a regulated market. The spread is a little better. Things are just, again, still very dangerous. You still need to respect it and make sure you don't just absolutely lose your shirt in a day or two, or even a trade or two. But this is a really nice place to begin to start if you're interested in Forex and interested in currencies. And quite honestly, this is going to be something that I start looking at probably late 2024, early 2025. And guys, it's never hurts to look a little further into the future, right? I have said many times, I will probably be in the education space doing shows like this for quite some time, but I'm going to trade until I physically can't do it anymore, right? And even when I'm in my 70s and 80s, if good Lord lets me get that far, just trading a couple hours a day probably be a good good endeavor to keep me sharp, because Lord knows I'm already mentally dull, so I can't even imagine what I'm going to be like in 40 years. But really nice variety of currency pairs, energy, financials. Yeah, see, this is what I'm going to be getting into. Probably, I'm going to have to look at what's the most liquid. Honestly, guys, I'm pretty good at what I do, but I have no problem telling you when I don't have the greatest handle on things. And with the bonds, I just don't. I've never traded bonds in my career, either the bonds themselves or futures or anything like that. But it's time to start expanding a lot of that stuff. So really kind of a good opportunity here to just see what we have to offer and all the different things that you can trade. So, we got a question in the chat. Let me get to that, and then we're going to talk about the competition here at Blue Sky. So, Henrique asks, what do you consider, and when do you consider yourself ready for scaling up bigger positions? That is an amazing question. So first of all, thank you for asking that. This is one of those questions, we hear often in any endeavor, right, whether it's trade. The most important thing is when you're learning is to make sure you're asking the right questions, right? Somebody starts trading tomorrow and they ask me, how quick can I make $1 million? That's the wrong question. Don't get me wrong. We all want to be there. I wish every one of us becomes millionaires when we're trading, right? But that's the wrong question to ask, especially on day one. So first of all, congratulations on asking the right question. So let me now answer it. And let me answer it both directly and indirectly. So directly, the answer is when you have consistent profitability with smaller position sizes. Now, let me kind of indirectly then move a little more into that. And obviously, Henrique, I don't know you personally. I don't know what your trader level is and what you trade and all that kind of stuff. But for me, this is just me. I'm in a little bit of a different situation, but I always like to say, if tomorrow right? This is a business exercise that a lot of people, they do in business schools and stuff like that. And they'll talk to, I don't want to say CEOs, because we're sort of in a market environment where CEOs really don't create anything anymore. They just sort of create shareholder value is really all they're supposed to do in publicly traded companies. We could debate that and talk about that ad nauseum, but that's not the purpose of this show. Okay, but they talk to, let's say, people who have entrepreneurs, people who have built companies from the ground up. Okay, they're not just figureheads. They're not people that come in as chairman of the board. They've built the company from the ground up. And they'll ask them, okay, so if tomorrow you woke up, your company's gone, all your money's gone, but you have all your knowledge, what would you do to start from scratch, right? So for me, if I woke up tomorrow, all my accounts are emptied. Thankfully, the vast majority of my money is in insured accounts, but regardless of that, right? You woke up tomorrow, every dime is gone, and let's say you have just enough for, to start a small account or maybe to start an eval here at Blue Sky, which is a lot cheaper this week with the 50% off sale, okay? And so for me, I would be starting in the 3 to 5 micro range, okay? And I'd be starting there very consistently, and I probably would not deviate from that until I have at least, whether you want to measure it in months, let's talk about it in weeks. If you can do that and finish, let's say, 10 out of 12 weeks green, then maybe it's time to slightly increase your position size. And honestly, guys, I'm being ultra aggressive with that. Me personally, I started, the micros are fairly new, but I started, once I got into very small, whether it was minis with very, in things like the ES or micros in the NQ, for me to get to where I am now, which is my average position size is usually about 3 minis in the NQ. Okay, so not a huge position size relative to what a lot of people trade. Most of you in your evals probably trade bigger position sizes than that, and hopefully it works out for you. But it took me almost 3 years to scale up to that. Now, was that a little conservative? Could I have been a little more aggressive with that? Sure. And in hindsight, if I were to go back and start over again, I probably would scale up a little quicker. But better to be on the cautious side of that than the aggressive side when you're bottoming out accounts, okay? It took me a good year to get really, really good at trading futures. Now, I had some profitability early on, but that's because a lot of the lessons like not to bag hold, oversizing, and all that, I learned through trading stocks and options over the course of about 4 years before I got into futures. Okay, so some of those lessons we all learned the hard way, I had already learned and just applied to futures. Now, futures was more difficult to get good at trading futures than it was stocks and options, especially on a swing trading perspective. But so many people, guys, it used to be, back in my day, not really, but it used to be almost anybody who was a day trader, especially in futures and stocks, cut their teeth as a swing trader. And I used to have a saying, and I still think it's a good way to go. How are you going to expect, if you can't make decisions on a 2 to 3 day time frame, how are you going to make on a 2 to 3 minute time frame, right? And so getting good and learning some of those lessons and paying some of your tuition, both in time and energy and money, in swing trading is a great way to get started. Now, obviously, that's not realistic for people that are just entering into something like a Blue Sky evaluation program and going through the steps that way. So with that in mind, to me, I think, again, I would go 10 out of 12 weeks green. And I mean green, right? Like if you're trading 5 micros and I'm plus $60 at the end of the week and I made 37 trades. Yeah, that's not green, right? If you can consistently, again, let's say 5 micros, 3 to 5 trades a day, and average between $100 to $200 profit per day. Now, you're not going to have that every day. You're going to have red days. You're going to have days where you have a little more, maybe days that are basically break even. But over the course of the week, you get to the end of the week, and let's say you have between $500 and $800 in profit, okay? And you're able to do that consistently, week after week, month after month. Then you go up to, well, at that point, you double your position size, right, Matt? No. Go from 5 to 8. Go from 8 to 1 mini, right? Because then you get a little break on the commissions. I would then actually go from 1 mini to 15 micros, basically 1.5 minis. And again, guys, every time I tell people to do, because somebody with 2 minis, I'll say, why don't you start with 20 micros? And then you can scale out on the upside 2 or 3 or 4 times. Well, the commissions, guys, I have no problem with people seeking out the best commissions, lowest platform costs, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, but if commissions are the difference between you being profitable or not, you're not profitable. Okay, well, gosh, I would have, been profitable if not for those darn commissions. No, maybe technically you would have been slightly green. But if your commissions are that big a deal, you're over trading. You're trading way too effing much, and you need to back up a little bit. Okay. Honestly, guys, for inexperienced traders, which for me is traders that are within 2 years of starting and have yet to see consistently profitable, if you're trading more than 10 times a day, you're just gambling. Now, if you have a system that legitimately produces that many trades and you have the data to back up that they make you a profitable trader, that's fine. Show it to me. And my whole family's from Missouri. That's the show me state. You got to show me something. Okay? So, yeah, that's basically it. So Henrique, there's a 10-minute answer to a 2-minute question, but take your time, scale up slowly. Once you begin to have consistent success, again, we'll say 10 out of 12 weeks green, at least $500 or more with a 5 micro position. Now maybe you're ready to slowly scale up, or just scale up one at a time, 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let me catch up on the chat here. And I've spent time on these graphics, so I'm going to put them up, right? So it's time for the trader mailbag. And guys, I just have the one question that I got in, but we're going to go ahead and I just want to get to the chat and catch up on the comments and questions there. So less time in the markets equals less risk, James. Well, yeah. Technically speaking, you're 100% correct, right? If you're not in the markets, you're not at risk of losing money, but you're also not at risk of making money, right? And there are guys, trading is just risk management. It's the business of risk management. That's all it is. If you're looking to make a lot of money without a lot of risk, this is not the business for you. Okay, I literally put my account on the line every single day. There is a. Do I believe I'm going to blow out my personal brokerage account tomorrow? No. Is it technically a possibility? Yeah. Right? What if I mean, maybe it's just I get so greedy, I go so heavy into a position I'm 100% sure of, and it goes against me, and all of a sudden I'm down 80% in the account. Or maybe I fat finger into a trade. Oh, I meant 2 minis, and all of a sudden I'm in 20. Right? Like that kind of stuff can happen. Every day we sit down at our computers, there is a non-zero chance we lose every dime that we have. Okay, that's the reality of what we do. Every step that we take, every move that we make, I'll be watching you. No, not really. But all of those should be designed to bring that risk down to an acceptable level. Okay. So now some of my trades last 2 or 3 minutes. Some of my trades last 20 or 30 minutes. And while it's technically what you're saying is correct, I'm more of an intraday, as I like to say, an intraday swing trader. Sometimes, guys, in other asset classes, I'll hold trades for multiple hours. If it doesn't hit my stop loss, doesn't hit my profit target, and I have no new information on that, right? There's nobody, if I'm in the ES and let's say I'm in with 2 minis and I set a 20 point profit target and a 10 point stop, and it doesn't hit either one of those, there's no Fed speakers yapping, there's no FOMC data or anything coming, there's no new information, I'm not out of the trade. Now, far more often I'm in and out of trades in 5 minutes or less, but I'm prepared when I enter a trade to be in it as long as necessary. What's the longest losing streak you've had? Oh boy, I mean, are you talking about trades or are we talking about days? Wait, what am I singing now? Oh, yeah, the I'll be watching you. Or the Puff version on Biggie. Yeah, that's a really creepy song when you really listen to the lyrics of it. It's like, oh, it's sweet. No, he's a stalker. That's creepy. Well, anyway, what's the longest losing streak you've had? I honestly, this is going to sound really arrogant, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't remember the last time I had consecutive losing days. I've had 2 non-consecutive losing days so far this calendar year. So that's it. Now there's been a couple days, like I said, if I make like less than $500 profit, I basically consider that a break-even day. If I at the end of the day I'm negative 170, that's a break-even day, right? I need to be usually below 250 in loss or above 500 in profit for me to consider it. And at the end of the year, guys, I do more analysis on stuff like that where, everyone's, 70% of my days were winning days. Well, that's great. If 90% of those you only made $100, that's not a very lucrative endeavor, right? So anything, my general rule is if I'm, like I said, if I'm usually within, it depends on the day, but we'll call it 300 in either direction, either if I'm below 300 in profit up to, negative 300 in loss, I just consider it a break-even day at that point. Because, for me, I want to be in the 1 to 2 to 3K per day. That's ultimately where I want to be. Don't hit it every day, but, some. As far as the bot that's been running, guys, that's Mike. So make sure you check in with him. He's very amenable to questions and all of that. So just jump in his stream at 9:30 Eastern tomorrow. Watch and watch for an hour or so, and then any questions you have, feel free to ask him. I know Steve, who's in there, is very helpful as well. So feel free to ask them questions. That's his baby though. I don't know much about that, and I don't want to speak for him. So I would definitely check that out. Okay, so how was the volume in the FDAX on the London session? I don't trade anything over. I don't trade European stuff or the Asian stuff. Just kind of stay away from that. That's one of the toughest things in this business, guys. It's very easy. It's easy when you're not winning, but it's actually even easier when you're winning to really kind of let trading be a means to a better life. Don't let it take over your life. I've met a number of traders over the years who even they're wildly successful, multi-million-dollar, 8-figure traders who at some point burn out, right? Whether it's temporarily or permanently. I know specifically of a guy that made was about 3.7 million trading from the time he got out of college to the time he was 31, and then just walked away. Somebody I used to interact with in an old company regularly, and I haven't talked to him for a couple of years. I assume he's still out, but he hit it hard, and just between family and a lot of other things, he just what, I'm good. But honestly, I know we're here to make money, guys, but it is the getting good at this to be good at it, right? Getting good for getting good's sake is what is the mindset that real, true high-level elite traders always have, right? Ego's a big part of it, right? I love going into the markets and out trading. Every time you make a winning trade, may not be the exact person on the other end of that, but you beat somebody. And it's cool to have that feeling. But I love being good at what I do for the sake of being good at what I do. Right, when I was a coach many years ago, and that was the career path I was going to be in, which is why doing shows like this and coaching traders is something I really enjoy doing, and it was a natural step for me once I got good at it. But I was one of those, I hated to lose more than I loved to win, right? That ultra competitive nature, and if trading made me 20% of the money that it has, I'd still do it, and I'd love every second of it, right? So. Really, listen, yes, we're here to make money. If you're not here to make money, I don't know what you're doing. But process over profits, and honestly, as cliche and cheesy as it sounds, try to be in this for the love of the game, right? And that's the words of Forrest Gump. That's all I got to say about that. How do you confirm support or resistance held or failed? So that's a great question, XPX. So let's talk about. Let me pull up a 5-minute chart here. Where's my 5? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, actually, I outlined this during my afternoon session with my community, and I said I think we're stuck in this range. Sure enough, no real. Man, I just missed this. I had a decent day today, guys, but I have a setup that would have triggered right there. Oh, that would have been juicy too, but alas, didn't trigger. And this is part of trading, guys, right? Seeing these areas, not chasing trades, because that's the thing, as I always say about chasing, bag holding, all that, guys. It works just enough to keep you coming back. So as far as confirming support or resistance held or failed, first of all, when we talk about support or resistance, we're talking about technical analysis stuff on the charts. That is mostly science, but there is a large part of art to it as well. So as I talked about before, one of my favorite patterns to confirm, let's say, for example, a break or resistance, is a break, retest, and go. We break out above the level. We come back and retest it. We hold, and again, it can drift a little above or below, and then we start and we make a new high, right? I have a pattern that I teach my students that is basically a Renko version of the cup and handle. For those that aren't familiar in candlesticks, the cup and handle is just very simply this, right? And there's your entry. Now, it's not always this nice and neat, of course, but it's something coming out of a downtrend, makes a new high, retraces a little bit, gets rid of the initial profit taker, shakes out some of the shorts, and then heads up. Okay, that whole thing of making because again, what is a trend? An uptrend is nothing more than higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher high, higher low. And downtrend is the exact opposite. So for me, if I'm talking about a key area of resistance, I want to see a break, retest, and go, or a test, rejection, and breakthrough, right? Those are the types of things that I look for. For candlesticks, keep in mind what they, sort of that traditional old school break of resistance means. We have a candle that closes above resistance, and the next candle also opens and closes above resistance. Now in futures, the close of one candle and the open of the other candle are almost nearly identical every single time, right? But at this point, that's considered then a break of that area. But again, I want to see the area retested. That's when I begin to get some real confidence, right? Which is why I was, very confident about this move up in. Why is that? Stop doing that. In the NQ here. Oh, are we okay, well, I'll talk about that. So the powers that be, guys, have empowered me to announce that tomorrow's show we will be doing a giveaway. So I don't have any more details there. In fact, they can give them to me. I'm not going to give them to you. You got to show up to get them. Right? That's called a tease for tomorrow. So we are doing a giveaway tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for that. Also, the more you like these videos, the more you subscribe, the more that we have, the more it gives me ammo to go to these guys. Say, hey, people like these. Let's keep making them, right? And guys, to wrap up for today, let me. No, don't need that. Let's get that off screen. We are doing a flash sale. I'll talk about that momentarily. The $100,000 competition, guys. And Diego's apparently in the lead. Diego, if you're still in the lead at the end of this, I want to interview you on the show, buddy. So stick with it. But guys, this is a great way. This is a competition, right? $1,000 cash to the winner. Blue Live accounted for the top 5. That's great. But honestly, guys, if you're this is for $5 extra, I believe it is. This is a great chance to just get in and test yourself out. Honestly, if you've never done one of these before, I wouldn't worry about your position. Just try to stay solvent. Try not to blow out the account in 30 days. The first step to consistently making money is to stop losing it, right? So if you can take a month, keep the account solvent. Honestly, guys, in some of these competitions we've done, if you just made $200 or $300 on average a day, you'd win the competition because some people get a little out of pocket, get a little greedy, and go from there. Okay, your first 100 profit per day. No, the starting balance, guys, is $100,000. The starting balance of the sim account that you're trading for this is $100,000. Okay, and whoever has the most profit at the end of the month wins. Okay, and if you don't, you need to have a Blue Sky account to join this, guys. And if you don't have one, now is a great time to join. 50% off flash sale. And you can see refund 50 is the code, all caps. And when you reach the brokerage stage, okay, so you pass the eval, you pass the Blue Live, you now are in a live brokerage account. They're going to go ahead and refund your first month. Right, so if you go get a static account today, so 50% off, that should be about $100. And let's say it takes you 2 months to get there, that to brokerage, that $100, boom, that's you can take yourself out for a nice dinner or something like that, or a loved one, maybe both. Depends on how much they supported you on your trading journey, right? So that is what we have going on at bluesky.com, and again, there will be a giveaway tomorrow. Okay, so that is our show for today, guys. We just have tomorrow's show. We don't do this show on Friday. So show up tomorrow for giveaway Thursday. Okay, I'm going to have to make a graphic for that now. We will be giving away Blue Sky eval accounts, so you can join the Blue Sky family if not already. So make sure you show up tomorrow, and you must be present to sign up for that. And then we will figure all that out. So I will see you tomorrow. about 23 and a half hours from now, and we will do that giveaway. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you